Cash Money Morgan. I'm here with two of my brand new friends, Rachel and Heather. I told them that there was, sound effects, but I didn't tell them that I'm actually a game show host.
Favorite, let's go.
Didn't see that one coming. Welcome, beautiful women, to, as they have just now coined, the Pod Loft. Welcome to the podcast in my loft vibes. So, again, welcome so much to the ADHD. Sorry, guys. We're here to have fun.
No, we are here to have
Sit
fun.
back on my $50 couch. It's good vibes. City Girls Up. Well, basically, I met both of these amazing women at an event I was invited to. Shout out to Ashley Hunt. I love you, girl. And it was so fun. And I've been itching to get them on the podcast. So I'm so happy you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming. But let's get into introductions a little bit. If you just want to say who you are, what you do, and a fun fact about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you for having us on here. We're super excited. My name is Rachel Watson. I am the general manager at Keller Williams Realty, which is a real estate company here in Springfield. I'm licensed, but my main role is to help our agents through coaching, growing their business, and more of our leadership team and the training side of it too. Fun fact about myself. This is my least favorite question.
Oh no, this is my favorite one. That's so tough.
Oh no, I wasn't prepared for this. I would probably say fun fact is that...
Here, I'll go.
Okay,
and
great,
then you'll,
great.
Because I'm goofy.
Okay.
Okay, so
Oh, no.
I recently posted a reel with Hannah from our last podcast, and I said, you're talking about looking ugly in high school, and I was like, because she's like, and I said, girl, don't, because she's like, oh, you're so cool. And I was like, girl, I was literally the lead boy character in my school play.
Now that's talent.
And then I posted the picture on the story. So that's my fun fact, is I actually dabbled in theater. Sometimes I'm into it, and yeah, I played a guy role because he had more lines than any of the girl roles. So the equality, Shakespeare, get on it.
More lines, I'll take it. There's more lines, I'll be there.
Come on.
Yeah, I still don't have a fun fact. I'm not interesting.
You are interesting.
No.
Sorry.
I'll probably come up with something later, maybe.
Okay, Rachel's fire at pickleball. So,
I am very competitive around pickleball. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, she is.
There you go.
Yeah, to echo what she said, thanks for having us. Super happy to be here.
So welcome. Thanks for
cool.
being here.
I'm Heather Esteban. I am a hairstylist. I've worked at Studio 417 here in town for 10 years.
Yes, queen.
That's right, girl. Doing the work, trying to.
That's right. You guys need to get your hair done. Go to Heather.
I'm your girl.
In a new house.
Yeah, there you
a
go.
life coach. Go to Rachel. Hey.
Can help you.
We'll get you all set up.
Period. And fun fact.
Man, fun fact about me.
I feel like we've been talking about it. But you pick though.
No, I will. Right now, for the next few months, I get to say that I'm pregnant for the first time.
We love a pregnant queen.
Several rounds of IVF, so that's my new fun fact forever, I guess.
Yeah.
Forever.
And you both just mentioned to me that, sorry, I'm moving the mic, it's fine. You both just mentioned to me that's National IVF Day today,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Okay, well, we need to the queens going through IVF. We see you and we support you.
Love
It's
it.
a safe space for you.
Love it.
Very cool, very cool. Well, getting back into why you guys are here, obviously you're both very cool, so we could always have you here without necessarily what we're going to talk about, but it's cool. But we are going to talk about this. I went to this event, but I'd met Rachel previously, and we talked about it a little bit, but then going to the event was so amazing, and I loved it, and I cannot wait for the future ones. And so let's get into the Flourishing Female and
awesome.
everything that it is and how it was really created.
Yeah. So I would say about 2 years ago, I had this thought on my mind of it would be fun 5 years plus from now to create some sort of women's community. Fast forward to October of last year, I went to my church and they had a special speaker on there, Liz Bohannon. She's the founder of Seiko Designs, and she spoke on loneliness. And she gave some really interesting facts, like the Surgeon General put out this 80-page report and said 2/3 of Americans are lonely. And only 12% of people will ever admit that they're lonely. And in that, she was talking about, we all went through this pandemic where it became convenient that we could isolate ourselves. We have Target pickup, we have Uber, we have DoorDash. We don't have to go around people if we don't want to.
That's good. That's good.
And so after going through that, in that sermon, she had also said, if you're wanting community, you have to be the first one to speak up and share that you feel lonely and let others come forward, or else nothing will ever happen. And so after church that day, I went home and I was like, okay, I feel this, I'm feeling lonely. And not in a sense of like I don't have friends. I have friends, but just like needing connection.
Yeah.
Being able to pull back the mask and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm struggling with, and I just need people to see me as who I am. So I shot this video on Facebook saying, hey, my name is Rachel. I'm feeling lonely. I would love to have women around my world that just crave that same thing.
Which, a quick pause in your story real fast, what I find interesting is just in our conversation, you mentioned you already have friends and you're married.
Yeah.
And yet you still feel this level of loneliness where it's like, I want to be around like-minded women and that kind of thing. But go back to what you're saying. Pause.
It's a feeling that like a lot of people feel, right? Just because I'm married, just because I work at a place and I'm going somewhere and I have friends, you can still not have those deep connections and conversations. And so in that video, I said, hey, I would love to do a pop-up. Like, if anybody would like to come, please, this is the time. And it'd be on Wednesday. That first night, we had 27 women show up.
Wow.
And 15 that said, hey, I would love to be there, but I can't. And it was one of those feelings of, oh my goodness, how cool is this? Like, and it was also so surreal because so many women felt that way. And they felt confident and safe that they could come there and be there in front of everyone.
And it was like ages 25 to 55.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things about the event that I went to with you guys. We had a pickleball event at a country club, and it was like a little tournament thing. It was so fun, and it reminded me of when I was a freshman in like launch week, because you're around so many girls, and you're so like, yes, queen. Like, we're vibing out with like the 6-year-old lady. She's like, please see my son. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Becky. But then I'm like friends with like this 18-year-old girl, and then like everyone 35. Like, we're all just having so much fun because that was the point, you know. And man, I loved that. When you want everyone around you to win. Yeah. You know, and so A+ because you created a great environment.
Yeah. And so after the event ended, it was like, okay, there's power to this. Let's do this. And so I went home and I was just messaging all the girls, thank you so much for being there. And one of the things I thought about is like, just like we're building this women's community, there's no way I could do this on my own, right?
Yeah.
And the best things in life are always done with people. And so I reached out to Heather, which Heather and I have known each other for like 10 years at this point now. Yeah. She was my hairstylist. I was like, chop all my hair off. I don't want it. And she's like, okay, you're kind of strange. And then we became really good friends. So then I was like, hey, I would love for you to be a part of it. Her and I had already kind of talked that she was kind of liking and wanting to be a part of that. And then I reached out to my friend from high school and I was like, hey, love you to be a part of this. And then my sister-in-law would please be here.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yep, let's do it. And so we've been meeting ever since. And since then we've had 1 to 2 events every month. And we've had over 200 women come to our events. And we're just meeting other women in the community. So powerful.
Snaps to that.
So good. So good. And what's so crazy is I'm sitting here, you know, thinking like, wow, you've been doing this for years. And you guys just let me know that you just started in October.
Yeah, it was October last year. Our first birthday will be October 18th of this year.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. We need a big summer blowout.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Already planning it. Yep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And so the friends you just mentioned, is that essentially like the leadership team, like the board members kind of thing?
Yeah, so it's our Flourishing Female team. So it's Heather and then Audrey Watson, who's my sister-in-law, and then Sam Clark, who's a part of it too.
Very cool. Yeah. And then, so commitment-wise, like obviously you mentioned you're pregnant and like you guys are married and you also work full-time. So how does that incorporate into your life? Like how does, you know, do you meet once a week? Is it virtual? Is it in person? Is that also part of your community? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, we have the thing we use the most is our group text, of course.
Of course.
Because we all are, like Audrey has 2 beautiful children. The rest, we all have full-time jobs, full-time spouses, partners, you know, that kind of thing. So we do try to meet, you know, I would say at least
twice a month.
Right, bi-monthly. Yeah. But I think it's just a combination of passion and some type A personalities, just getting it done.
For sure. I'm telling you.
Type A for sure. Type A's are the operation managers, baby.
I know. Yeah. But it's no small commitment, you know, to have these events that, you know, when you get to the event, it's really chill, it's casual, it's fun. There's snacks, there's drinks, but there's a lot of work on the back end, but it's like definitely, it's so important to all of us that it just feels good doing it.
Yeah, and we get to go there and all the women coming that they don't know each other, but maybe we know them and we start seeing them connect and meet. Yeah. It's like, that's why we do it. It's greater than ourselves and it's just more about us finding friendship. It's allowing other people to feel so connected. I mean, we got tagged in the Welcome to Springfield page and there were some women that saw that and they showed up to the event and they still keep coming.
Yep.
And so it's just like, we don't have to know all the women showing up and it's so amazing when we get to meet new ones.
Oh yeah, and there's just things in the Bible too about how, you know, like when 2 come together, like things are stronger. And there's examples too of, I was like in a sermon one time and talking about this amazing, like huge, strong horse, and how with one horse they can lift this many tons, but together it was almost like triple, which doesn't even make sense. But when you have the power of two strong things working together, it literally like fuses together and creates even more strength. And that's really what that community is with women. Like when someone in that group is going through a hard time, you have this huge community that's going to show up for you and be there for you or pray for you or whatever it may be. And so that's just so amazing that you, one, like had the balls and the courage to be like, I feel called to do this. Like I'm going to do it, you know, and then seeing new girls come up and like me, I'm like, I need to go all the time. Like I love this, you know? So especially like the whole structure of the whole thing, you know, looking through the Instagram and stuff, you guys have some deeper events and you have activities. So how do you guys really plan out like, okay, we're passionate about this, we want to touch on this. Like, what does that look like?
We have a ton of ideas. Like that was one of the first things when Rachel and I started texting about this. I was like, dude, I've been thinking about this. I've been trying to figure out like, again, like you said, like she had the balls to actually get out there and do it. And I was like, great. Here's the list of 100 things that I've thought of.
I've been planning this for
I
months.
already have ideas.
I love it.
And so really what we want to do is keep a nice balance of like keeping people, like we want people to have deeper connections, right? That's the whole purpose of this, is not just to have like a surface level stuff, but at the same time, we need to have fun too. And that's a great way to get new members in. And so we do try to keep a nice balance of like an every other or every third, have a, you know, just try to keep the fun going, but have definitely those underlying deeper connections at all of our events, really.
Yeah, and the social events are ways for us to reach more people, because if we said every event was very intimate and we were going to have deep conversations, it may turn some people away because they're like, I'm not ready for that and I don't know who y'all are. And so our social events, like when we did the Galentine's event at Maxon's, or we did the Casa event, or we did the pickleball, that's a way to reach so many women, and it just breaks down the barrier for them to come in the first time, and it makes them excited, and we get to meet them, and we'll be like, hey, come to this next one. And whether the next one is more of an intimate conversation where we're talking about like our challenges or what we're going through, or maybe it's the mental health conversation, that was the most moving conversation we have had, and it was so, there was like 20 of us, and it was so intimate, and we all cried, we laughed, we shared, we passed a box of tissues around like it was our microphone, and that's what bonds everybody though. The social is to bring them in, and the intimate, deep conversations is what bonds us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing, you know, coming from someone who is very active in my church, but also seeing how things can be hard sometimes to get things started in a church, you know, so why did you choose to do the kind of community thing as an independent source versus something like work related or church related, you know, that kind of thing?
You know, something that I think is really great about the Flourishing Female in that regard is that there are already mom groups and church groups and entrepreneur business owner groups. But what about everybody else in between, you know? The women who are out here grinding, doing still a ton of work, even if they don't own a business or have children or whatever, you know, so.
No, I love that. I love that because there's times just in my own life, I'm like, we should do this, but then you have to go through like hoops and ladders and things to get things started. I'm like, look, people need stuff now, you know, and that kind of thing, and praying about that. And
so removing some of the stopgaps. So being open for everybody. I mean, regardless if I'm a stay-at-home mom, like I still want to have connections. Or if I'm an entrepreneur building a business, great, I want to be able to still meet connections. And so we're just bonding them regardless of background, ethnicities, where you're coming from, your beliefs. Like we're all together. Like you feel seen regardless of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So what's the vision for the future for the Flourishing Female? You know, what would be the big goal or dream or like aha moment, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we were just talking about this, because a lot of the events, we talk about it's work, but we've been funding a lot of them out of our own pocket, right? And that just shows like we care about this so much. So like a goal next year would be like, yeah, we would love for every event to be break even, right? That would be awesome. But
for
future
starters.
big thinking is like
podcast notes here. I get it.
you get it. You get it. But it's just a passion where we're so passionate about, and it's like if we could build a community here in Springfield that we had 1,000 women that they all felt connected. So there's a book called Sticky Church, and regardless if it's a church or a large work environment, whatever it may be, it's no matter how many people you have, you build these small groups so everybody still feel connected to the main umbrella. And so if we had a group of a book club, or if we had a baking club, or if we had all these like little small groups within the big umbrella, that would be amazing. And if we had 1,000 members, I mean, how impactful could that be in our local community, regardless of your age? And so it's funny because we haven't talked about that yet, because we've just been like kind of surviving right now of just like, it's been working and we want to continue the momentum. And so we've been talking about doing like a offsite planning towards the end of the year, saying, what do we really want? Now that we've been through a year, now what we've seen, the events that have worked, what hasn't worked, what's really brought women connected, what stops us now? Yeah. And I think what stops us is, again, us like being able to bring more people in to help, you know, because we can only do so much. Yeah.
What's the most challenging part really of the group? Because I know with the, you know, the podcast and my own business too, like now I'm so grateful that I have friends who are in the same space and get it, but it's definitely isolating when you're trying something new and you kind of feel like you're trailblazing your own way. So what's been the most challenging part, whether it's like as a team or events or with women or whatever, you know, whatever situation?
You know, I guess like my role on the team, we all really share a lot of roles, but I'm partnerships and development. And so one of the hardest things I think is sticking our neck out there to different organizations and nonprofit and women-owned businesses and saying, hey, we're brand new. Yeah. But if you will take a chance on us, we've got really exciting stuff happening. Like like we said, we started last October. Last December, we did a women-owned shopping pop-up. And so we're reaching out to all these women-owned businesses being like, you know, we've got like 4 posts on Instagram. We're like, we promise we're legit. Do you want to come? Like, we did have to charge like a vendor, you know, we vendor shared the cost of the rental space. But my point being, you know, people really took a chance on us, like, sure, I guess I'll pay to come sell my stuff at your thing. And that's the hardest part, I think, is, I mean, the event went great, by the way.
Yeah, knocked it out of the
All
park.
of our venders had nothing but good,
Yes. Whoop, whoop. That's what I like to see.
Vendors had nothing but good things to say. Shoppers had a great time, you know, but I would say, just telling people what we're about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me personally is life, right? Like right now, this is truly a passion and a purpose that we are called to do, yet it's not dollar producing. And it doesn't have to be, yet life is so busy, right? We all have to make money at a certain point to be able to pay our bills, to live the life we want to live. And so sometimes we get pulled in these other directions, or, you know, life and family things pop up. And so just making sure that we still have time for this one thing, it's been hard. And being able to balance it all, yet at the end of the day, what my husband and I talk about all the time is, I am okay making less money because I truly believe in this, right? I would rather give more time to this. And I know that other girls feel that same way, because every time we meet, we're like, this is such hard work, but it's so rewarding. It is so rewarding. And so it's just balancing life and being able to be a wife, you know, a friend, a daughter, and a leader in a company, and still be able to do this as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you ever been in a situation where a woman has maybe opened up about something that maybe needed to involve, you know, other help or nonprofits, or, you know, if it was like abuse or something that like needed to involve, I don't know, like a cop, or it's a dangerous situation? Any encounter like that?
You know, I don't think we have yet, unless that's been a personal conversation, but we definitely want to create that safe space where somebody would feel confident coming to us with that, you know, that we could be a resource group for them. I would say that at our mental health event, we did have a lot of people opening up about stuff, not necessarily that we needed to get like police involved, you know, but talking about therapists and if people need medication, you know, on a really personal level. So I would say that's probably the closest we've gotten to that, and it was really impactful.
They mentioned depression and feeling lonely, and is it okay to, like, if their doctor said maybe you should go on this medicine to help that, is that okay? And so being able to just share that, and there was multiple women that said, hey, I'm maybe taking this right now and it's helping me, it's not a forever thing. And someone was like, okay, not as scary, because there's this demeanor that like it could be really bad, and everybody's views are different, right? But fortunately we haven't had to involve any sort of police yet. We want to be able to have these connections with these nonprofits that if anybody ever came to us in need, we could say we have a person for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, when you ask about like bigger goals for Flourishing Female, that's one of the things I thought of is like partnerships. That's huge, because us partnering with people, like the mental health day, we had a woman from Burrell come out and talk about it, and she's the person that if people are asking us those questions, we can be a direct line talk to her.
She gave us all of the resources that we could share on our Instagram, that if anyone had questions, this is what you could do. Or like when we had our CASA event, we had 2 women sign up to be CASA volunteers, and they had no idea what CASA was before that. So just being able to help educate the community members about the amazing
Educate me, please, too. What is CASA?
CASA is an incredible organization. They help support children in the foster care system. And so adults like any of us, you don't have to be, I think you just have to be over the age of 18, maybe. Don't quote me on look that up, listeners. But I guess my point is, you don't have to be a lawyer. You just have to be an advocate for these children. And you sign up to volunteer and help them through the system as they're going through rough times. And it is, I mean, they're doing God's work. Seriously.
Oh my gosh, send me the link for that, because I'm super interested in that too.
Big supporters of us, and we couldn't be more bigger fans of them.
Yeah, and that's a question I had too, which you kind of answered a little bit, was, like a girl's journey to mental wellness, that event you guys had. Like, what did that look like? Obviously, you said you just brought a woman in, and did she speak? And then it sounded like there was a small group. Is that essentially kind of what happened?
Yeah, so she came through with a presentation just talking about women's mental health and what they're seeing and the resources they have. And then she opened up for questions. And when she opened it up for questions, some women started sharing like some of the struggles they went through and how they overcame it, and maybe the resources that they had, whether it be maybe it was depression, or maybe they had an abuse, or maybe it was neglected as a child, whatever it may be, they shared that. And so we went around. But the coolest thing that ended the night was we all went around and said one thing we were grateful for.
That's
because
good.
It was such a heavy conversation that we didn't want to leave like, wow, that was a lot. It was good, but it was a lot. So we went around and we all said one thing we were grateful for. And for me, I don't want to get emotional.
We allow it on this podcast.
For me, there was what I shared that I was grateful for that night. When I went home, I was able to overcome a fear that had been for the last 5 days leaving me in tears for 2 hours every night. And when I shared what I was grateful for, I went home that night and I overcame it. And
Amen.
It was because of that. Like, and that's the nights like that where it's like, it changed my perspective.
It's like literally life-changing.
Yeah, it changed my perspective.
Yeah.
And so it's hard until you're in it and you experience it. And then there was one event where we did like a Jefferson-style conversation where there was a group of women, you asked 10 questions, but only one person could speak at a time, and they would share their. And so that was a very intimate conversation as they went around. And
yeah, that one was really, really cool. Asking questions, like, tell us about a moment in your life that molded you into who you are today. And so some people responded with like these amazing, like, powerful stories of like a positive impact that someone had on their life, and other people shared stories of maybe somebody that had a really negative impact on their life, whether it be abuse or neglect, and how it shaped them into the person they are today. And so it's pretty cool to see, like, in that specific scenario, how people interpret questions and then how we can connect through it. And we should be fair in saying too, at all of our events really, but like the Girls Guide to Mental Health and Wellness, there were women who chose not to speak at all, and that was perfectly fine. So there's never any pressure for everybody to have to share their story.
That's awesome.
But they have a platform if they want to.
That's good.
Yeah. And just in my own life, like, I lead a women's small group for all women. It's more so like young adult, but everyone's welcome. And it's so crazy that just like this past year too has been 1 year for me of having an accountability partner in my own life and faith. And it's the weirdest thing. It's just like, it's like having a spiritual therapist, and just like 1 hour once a week, just chatting. And the way that I feel like I've grown more this year than years in my life. And like and then I mentor, like do that for like a younger girl and stuff like that. And so it's so wild how just a small group, or even a situation like that, like you have all these friends, but then you never actually talk about like, oh my gosh, like what are you actually insecure about right now? Like, let me pray for you, or like, let's talk about this. Like opening that conversation of mental health, healing, gratitude, what's really going on. And so I think that's amazing, and just creating a space for that. And even maybe like having something mentorship, or people opening the conversation for accountability or whatever, just to I don't know, even
Yeah.
deepen it. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. Yeah.
thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Okay, well maybe we should ask some girly pop questions here to like. I feel like we love deep. We're always deep. Never gonna not be deep. But I know these ladies like to have a good time. So because I saw you at that accent event. We had a good time.
It was a good time.
Obviously, Twisters right now. The movie is out. I'm not a Glenn Powell girly. I'm probably a hater. I feel like anything that's like trending and popular, I'm like Taylor Swift. Like I'm so bad. I'm such a Miley stan. I don't know. I know. Everyone like I probably like get canceled for everything. But since everything's popular right now, Travis Kelce or Glenn Powell?
I feel like I have to say Travis Kelce.
She's a
Like,
huge Swiftie.
I'm a huge like.
Oh, okay.
Like we said,
I
we're
still like
31.
you.
We grew up. Don't worry. No, that's the one thing I've told people that I'm like, I love her. I can't quit her. We grew up with her. We're like the same
Yeah.
age as her.
Right.
I liked her before everybody else did. Can I say
Yeah.
that? Like,
Oh,
that's
That's
my
a hill she will die on.
free
that is a
country.
hill I
Yeah.
will die on. So, yeah.
100%.
And I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm a Kansas. I'm
Yeah.
born and raised in Kansas.
Okay, and I'm
Chiefs
Green
are in
Bay.
Missouri, whatever, you know. But
Like I'm from Green Bay, so I'm a Packer fan through and through. Like,
and I'll still like you for that.
yeah, I still like you too. You know, I'm like, you know, you're so cute. Like, you're not the Chiefs. You just like them. Like,
That's right. That's right.
Oh man! So this may be what my fun fact is. I have
Right, so I'm
probably
gonna do
seen.
my own
Bringing it back.
thing.
Bringing it back.
You brought it back because don't hate me y'all, but I don't know who Glenn Powell is.
Okay,
And
no one's gonna hate
because
you, yeah.
I've probably watched 10 movies in my life.
That's
Okay.
I hardly have seen any movies. I've seen
Okay.
Twister though, the
You're-
original.
You're so cute that you didn't even say anything earlier.
I was just like,
she has never seen a popular movie.
yeah, there's
Okay.
probably
Oh,
not a
a
lot of
movie.
movies. No.
Okay.
And so I would have to say Travis Kelce then by default.
Okay.
But I'm
All right.
a Chiefs fan, if that helps. But no, I haven't
Okay.
hardly seen any movies.
Yeah, honestly, I'm
Dude,
like
that's totally your fun fact.
here for neither. No, I'm not a movie girl either, and it's the weirdest thing. I go to Connect Church, but I actually went to Life Church this past week on a Saturday night because my friend wanted to go, and like we don't have Saturday service, and they played like the movie clips. They basically so people in Wisconsin are not going to know this. So basically, they play like clips of a movie, and then they give like the spark notes of a sermon, and they kind of merge it, which is so weird. Like I used to never cry in movies. Now 25, I cried 3 times in the George Foreman movie. But they clipped that movie to make it like 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll watch every movie if they clip it into 20 minutes and give me the sparks notes. Like I don't have the mental capacity to like. I just get so bored during movies. That's why I love TV shows.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Oh no, I'm a huge movie girl.
Are you?
I can watch like 9 hours straight of movies.
Wow.
Yeah, and people say quotes to me all the time. I'm like, what? And
Yeah.
they're like, it's a movie. I'm like, yeah, nope, not for me.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
like 9 hours straight of Gossip Girl, The Office. I can quote
Gossip
everything
Girl.
Michael
Yes,
Scott says.
yes.
Like
but-
don't even yes.
Yeah, but I'm like,
Obviously.
The Hobbit. I watched
Oh,
the
no.
Yes.
I'm like,
please give it to me. Fantasy movies,
No, I'm
nerdy,
sorry.
quote unquote. I think it's cool, but
Okay.
Yeah.
What about books? Are you guys into reading books or anything? Or
big time.
Oh, yeah.
okay, I see this. Okay, you would
Yeah, we are.
love. You would love so many of my friends because I feel like they're so into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
you read too.
Yeah, I'm a big like mystery thriller kind of
Okay.
girl. So
what are you guys reading? Like name drop.
So Frida McFadden, any of her books, big fan of that. But I also like more story books that are more leadership based as well.
Okay.
So anything like John Gordon, Patrick Lencioni, like all those kind of books.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. They have to have a story though.
Okay.
around it, or else I won't.
You don't
read
like nonfiction at all?
it. It depends on what it would be, I guess. So maybe.
She's like, when I read one, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Like I loved like Steve Jobs' book about him. That was cool
I
to
did
learn
read-
about him.
I read that too. Yeah, I like that.
But for
Yeah.
the most part, probably not.
Okay.
And fantasy, no. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
I
I get
get
it.
all over the place. I love fantasy.
Okay.
I love like thriller, true crime, like
Yeah.
any of that kind of stuff. Kristen Hanna's one of my favorite authors too, and I love like The Great Alone and The Nightingale. But I just finished one book called The Big Swiss. Big fantasy girl. I love Fourth Wing. It's another one of those like.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I don't like trendy things, but everything I'm saying on this podcast is
It's
like
super trendy.
I
No,
know,
I like it.
and I love it. So
Yeah. Hey.
That's me.
If you're gonna be about it, be about it.
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
my whole
Own
thing.
it.
Like own it, stand on business about it. You know.
Yep.
Because I feel like
I'm with that.
my outfit style, like my coworkers, well, my whatever. I'm so Morgan. Like, sorry. I'm always like, this is gonna air. Like, No, but like people in my life will be like, "Wow, I like your work style," and I'm like, "You don't even understand. Like my outfit inspo is like '70s grandpa that went to like Mizzou." I'll go to like a football game and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that outfit is so awesome!" Like I just want to be like, "Dog, like how much for the puffer jacket?" Like
that's cool.
He's like 70 or 85 years old. Sorry, so
but it works on you.
That's my outfit inspo. I don't know what your guys.
Yeah,
I feel like again I'm like all over the place. I feel like I have a lot of different levels of interest in a lot of different things.
Yeah, I wish I was an aesthetic girl.
Get out of here! Your outfit is so cute. Are you kidding me?
Thanks.
Super cute.
I have one friend. She has a Pinterest board for everything. All of her outfits. You know, if she's going on a trip, Pinterest board. I wish I was that. Not me. I'm just
you don't have to be.
Yeah.
It's typically a lot of my wardrobe is like black or neutral color.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, okay, so I do have a question here is, you're talking about like mentorship and like women and all this stuff. And so, especially being 25 out here and I'm chilling, but I feel like there's a lot of like societal pressures and stuff like that. And especially mentioning COVID, like dating is so bad. Like in Gen Z, like it is so bad. And there's so many reasons. I mean, there's things where girls are really in their bag and there's guys that are like that, but also I feel like a lot of guys sometimes have brought less to the table and they're so afraid of rejection these days, which is probably because of how remote everything is. But, what advice would you have for, I guess, girls in their 20s or, people even trying to date, whether that's advice like for women and for men, in your mindset?
Yeah, it's good. So I actually wrote this keynote, and it's called Life Beyond the Title. And a lot of it is around when you grow up, and I'm from a small town, it was you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, you get married, you have kids, you have a job, and then you retire.
Yeah.
And if there's anything about my life, because I'm 31 now, that was not the path, right? And are things that I went through that I was like, nope, this is the path, wrong, turn, go. And the person I was 5 years from now is completely different than the person I am today.
Yeah.
And so I think as a woman or a man, you're always evolving and growing, and you're always going to be around people that maybe are a little bit further than where you are, and you feel like you need to be that. Mm. And the worst thing we can do to ourselves is, when I get there, I can't wait to do that. Or when I make this much money, or when I land this job, or when I have a relationship, all my things are going to change. And it's not. And it starts with you. And it starts about being comfortable with yourself and being happy with who you are and what you love and just really embracing that. And all the times when it was more of just like, win this, I never was happy. But the times I took and said, I'm going to be fun at Rachel at the time. I wasn't married. I'm just going to live my life, travel, work, and do all the fun things. That's when I met my husband, when I was least expecting it.
Crazy. That's literally the same.
And it was just like, and he was at that same point. And it was, we knew it from the moment. Like, we dated 6 months, got engaged. Everyone was like, y'all are crazy. And we're like, no, we just know.
Yeah.
But it took those wrong turns of thinking those were the right turns to get us to where we were. And the moment I stopped putting those pressures on myself to be at this level or to be this person, everything else changed. It's easier said than done, right? Because social media is a highlight reel all the time. Someone's going to be better than you or do something that you want. Yet, just know what makes you happy. And just, if you have to remove the noise, because no one else is going to make you happy the way you can.
That's good. That's so good.
Yeah, that's crazy, because that's like almost exactly what I was going to say. And I feel like it sounds kind of cliche to like, love yourself, be true to yourself. But I think like, kind of to piggyback on what she said, like, man, if I look at my life where I'm at now, 10 years ago, like, I never would have dreamed that I'd have the life that I do now. Like, this amazing husband, my career, whatever, like, listen, we all still struggle. I'm not saying it's perfect, but like, the person I was and the people that I dated did get me to where I am today. So you can't like be afraid of rejection, because all those people are going to be a part of your story and build you up to who you are today. Because let's say if I didn't date, whatever, if I was still the person I was when I was 25, I still wouldn't be with my husband that I am today, because I wouldn't have evolved that way. Does that make sense? And same thing I had really just like, I'd gotten out of another kind of toxic, I guess, relationship the year before. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be cool. I'm like, may never have kids. I want to travel. Maybe I'll go do hair in New York. I'm like ready to like kind of just blow the top off this thing. And so that is like seriously when I met my husband, because I wasn't looking for him. Yeah. And it was like kind of instant too.
No, that's amazing. That's so amazing. And I think like as one, obviously being 25 in Southwest Missouri and single is such a interesting rarity. Yeah. But I'm chilling. But it's just like, as I mentor people and I'm in friendships, it just seems like so many people are so afraid to be alone. Yeah. Whether they're struggling with like being codependent, independent, or even just being around guys that treat them well. Like it seems like it's so hard to know your self-worth and really stand on business about that. And so, hearing these stories is awesome because it's encouraging, one, to me, but to other females, where it's like, you're going to be okay. There's community, there's options. Like, you don't have to settle for somebody because you are lonely. It's like, wait for the person that truly sees you and loves you and treats you the way you deserve, and that kind of thing.
It's like that quote, if you build it, people will come. It is. It's like, if you build yourself up, you build that life that you want, you're going to attract what should be a part of that, and nothing less.
That's good. Do you have any advice for, the younger people, where it's like, hey, maybe you're in high school and you're struggling, maybe you are in your early 20s, or maybe you're honestly in your 40s, whatever it is, and they're just in that mindset of like, I don't know, I feel lonely, or, I'm struggling in my singleness, or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice is you always have the opportunity to change your environment.
That's good.
It's the power that you get to choose. And if you don't hold on to that power, then you're powerless and everything else is going to control you. So if you don't like the friend group you're around, change it, right? You have the opportunity. It's the sum of the 5 people that you're around. So if the 5 people that you're around the most are bringing you down, find another 5 people that lift you up. If you're looking at dating, which I don't envy the dating world right now, because I think that it's become very quick, fast,
finger slip,
swipe, swipe right to get the satisfaction, scroll, and immediate, this person liked my photo. I don't envy that, yet just there are people out there that are not around that. So change your environment. Maybe you're like, I want to move, go experience life. You'll never get those years back where you have to, if you start a job and you're really kind of more stuck to a location, so go live it. And that's where I think everyone has the power to choose. And the quickest way to get out of that is choosing that you get to make the best day. And so one of my favorite songs is Good Day by Forrest Frank. And it's it's about having a good day. I'm gonna
have a good day.
Exactly.
Good
and
day.
So girl. Starting that every morning, playing that song.
Sorry.
Playing that song every morning just puts me in a good mood because I have the power to choose.
Yeah.
And if I'm having a bad day, then fix it. And it's
I know you went to that Life Church night about that George Foreman.
I wasn't there actually.
Oh, well, it's so crazy because you're literally speaking about it, because the whole message was really about, our minds determine our actions, whether we want to have it in our heart or not. And exactly what you're saying, if you don't like something, go change it. If you are depressed, do things to help try to focus on gratitude or whatever it may be. And so, mentioning, just looking at your own story of, you said you were lonely, you were home, and you said, you know what, instead of being like, I'm so lonely, I'm just gonna go cry in my room and watch more Love Island, blah, blah, blah. Instead, you were like, no, I'm gonna post on Facebook and be vulnerable and see if anyone else is lonely too that wants to kick it. And now you have a community of people and you're helping other people really be a part of something big, and that's amazing.
And it can be the scary thing of saying, we'll just go choose, and you're like, oh, it's easier said than done, Rachel. And it's just text one person and say, hey, I need you, you're a friend, and I'm just letting you know I need you. I'm in a bad spot and I just need someone to talk to. Just taking that first step. It doesn't have to be something super public, but just something that you can start communicating how you're feeling, because if you can't communicate it, no one else may know. Some of the most depressed people I know have this persona that everything is going perfect in their life. You see them, they have this big smile, you say, hey, how are you doing? I'm great, how are you? But they're struggling with so much.
Oh, yeah.
And so it just takes that first step of just saying, hey, I'm not okay. And anytime that someone says that to me, I'm like, thank you for sharing that. I would never judge somebody because I'm in that same spot too.
Yeah. Man, I wish there was something like this for men as well. I feel like I know some guys in town that I know of, a single dads group kind of thing, or other things, but just this conversation of what you're saying, I feel like it is so hard for men to really kind of I feel like it's so hard for them to open up without seeming weak and stuff like that. But really, it's if I'm trying to date a guy and it's okay, you haven't worked through things with your ex, you haven't healed from that stuff, you're not ready for me, and so it's if I care about you, like, yeah, I want the best for you, but I want you to really work on like getting right before you're ready to pursue me, or whatever it may be. And so I don't know. I feel like there's such a thing going on with men right now in that kind of space, but really like us as women trying to help empower men to be as confident as they can be, to be like the man that we need them to be, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we're all human. Like we all need it.
We all need it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think our husbands have become a lot more closer. Just like they see the impact of Flourishing Female, and like now they'll go out and golf and they'll have like these serious life conversations when they're golfing, and it's so cool to see that developing.
Yeah.
That men can also take off this like mask and saying, this is what we're struggling with, or how can we talk about this and just help each other. And so I feel like the golf time is like their therapy.
Yeah, they're like, well, we're gonna do something if you guys are all doing something. We're like, yes, you should.
Yeah, please do it.
Please,
God, be home by 9.
Yeah,
go for it.
We're doing it.
Feed yourself.
Yeah, feed yourself.
Feed yourself. That's funny. So touching on just like the one mental event you guys did, what are some of the deeper events you guys have done, and also more like the activity-based kind of thing? Just like a few examples.
Yeah.
A few examples of some of the deeper one, like you said, the mental health one, the one we mentioned earlier, like the Jefferson dinner one. The very first one where Rachel just kind of like cut herself open and let it all spill out in front of everybody. And then people started spilling back.
Yeah.
I mean, that was literally the first day. That was one of them.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has, a past, right? And it shaped them into who they are. And I've had a couple of like, wrong turns or things that have happened in my life that I'll share with people. It's who I am today, right? And I've learned from those, and I've been able to say, I know from this, I learned that I will never do this again, or this is how I'm showing up, or this is what I'm looking for in a partner, and those things, or this isn't how I know how to use my voice. But yeah, I mean, and I think we've all been able to just connect, and just even when we meet as a team, we're still able to connect and share and just like help each other through too.
And then like some of the fun ones we've done, obviously the pickleball event, super fun.
So fun,
It was supposed to be social. It didn't end up social.
It was a little competitive.
It was very competitive.
Rachel sauced me, you guys, but I'm gonna get back to her.
You had played like 3 games, so you were probably tired at that point, but I was like, Morgan, I'm coming for you, girl.
Yeah, you guys were so fun.
In your blue outfit, I was like, you got it.
I love when women
like I mentioned earlier, the women-owned shopping pop-up, that was so much fun. We did a movie night at the Alamo last year too, where we like all wore Christmas PJs and we watched the holiday. It was
like, I want to go to that
just
next
fun,
year.
Like really
the Galentine's event.
The Galentine's Day at Maxon was amazing.
We found their gemstone bestie, so everyone took a personality test, and you got like a fake ring, and so you found your matching color of your personality, and you had to meet other women there.
I love that.
That was really fun too.
The Casa event was awesome. We got to tour Casa, and like again, that's something that maybe not everybody our age knows about, but like seeing the facility, seeing what they do for the kids.
Yeah.
We had live music, we had drinks, we had food, we had some really cool statistics, and I know that doesn't sound cool, but
I'm a stat girl.
Listen, our events and creative director Sam crushed it. She made these awesome boxes and put both statistics about kids in foster care and like loneliness and friendship, and it was just really powerful.
Wow.
But like with a drink in your hand, fun. It was super cool.
With a sparkly outfit on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so we have some future events that we're planning. Like this coming Sunday, we're doing a Sunday social, and so we're going to go to Lightbox, and we're going to hear from Hannah, the owner, about her women-owned business and her journey as an entrepreneur, and just have ice cream and hang out and meet. And then we're planning our 1-year birthday party of what that's going to be. We'll probably do another pickleball night, and just whatever fun things that come to mind that women have really enjoyed, but then also ensuring that we have those deep, meaningful conversations, so it's more than just like a surface level event.
Yeah,
absolutely. Do you have any plans to expand like the leadership team too, if someone's really interested, or anything like that? Sorry.
Yeah, we've talked about that. We just haven't had the time. I think after we get through the first year and we go to that planning thing, we're saying, okay, how can we enlist more help, right? Because we have a lot of people that said, let us know how we can help. We want to be involved.
Like Rachel had talked about earlier, like if we have subcommittees kind of within the umbrella, it would be really cool to have like outreach leaders, like some of the women we know that maybe are 50, age 50 and older, and they really want to come to our events, but they want someone else their age to kind of, because they're like, what are these 30-year-olds or whatever. But same thing, like maybe there's a book club. People really want to do a running club. So it'd be really cool to have these kind of outreach people within the Flourishing Female umbrella to kind of coordinate those things. I think would be cool.
Yeah.
On a personal level, how do you feel like you've seen the group impact your life in a positive way? Or you know, that maybe it's like something rewarding, but really, I mean, because I know with like the small groups I do and the mentorship, I'm like, oh my gosh, like the week I don't do it, I'm like, wow, I feel a difference, you know, but you know, what's your perspective on your life?
It's changed my life. We've met some really amazing people. I think it's allowed my friendships that I had with some of those friends grow deeper and have a stronger connection. I think it's allowed us to meet new women and bring them into the world, and we've been able to learn more about them and hopefully enrich each other's lives.
Yeah.
But it is, like we talked about earlier, it's a lot of work on our side planning them, but the moment we get there, we're just like, this is why we do it. Like, we just were looking around at the pickleball event of like, look how many people showed up and are having so much fun. And so we just want to be able to continue that. And I think for us, like when I mentioned the mental health night, like that was a very like transformative night for me personally. And so just being able to be like, because of that event, I didn't cry in my bathroom for 2 hours and I could move forward. Like it's huge. And so I think it's one of those things that we may never be able to put into full words of like how much it's changed. Yeah. I just know that if it went away, I would be so sad.
Yeah.
I'd be so sad.
Yeah. And I'd say like for me to answer that question, you know, like I'll use one of our events as an example that like we had, you know, 15 or 20 people signed up. And then that day people got sick. The weather was bad. We had like a really, really small group. And I was like panicking about it because I was like, oh my gosh, people drove all the way out here. There's only like 5 of us here. This is going to, you know, I was like stressing. And the feedback we got from an 8-person group was like, oh my God, I love the intimate, in that intimate setting. People were crying. I just couldn't believe it. And so like having that feedback, like I guess that's what it's done for me is like, you don't have to give them the world.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that we're not still giving that much effort, but it's like people don't need diamond rings and big, huge, flashy events. They just need connection. And that has really like shown me how important those littler, smaller to me things really are.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've learned so much of that too with my own podcast, is especially doing it for like 2.5 years. And I mean, and like you meet people and they're like, how many listeners do you have? You know, it's like right away, like your whole self-worth is like monetary or this kind of thing. But it's like the texts I've gotten where you put an episode out that maybe you're being more vulnerable or you just feel called to do, and then you get that text where it's like, hey, this seriously helped me, I'm struggling with this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the same thing, if it was taken away from me, there's an element where it's like I would not feel fulfilled because I feel like I'm called to this. And that's where I see that in you guys, and I see that, you know, whether, you know, God's calling you or whatever, where it's like, go start this and do it, and you're doing it, and you're making an impact, whether it's in the foster kids' lives and mothers' lives and whatever was going on in your lives, like it's so cool that you went ahead and you're like, I'm gonna do this, you know. And that's what like my listeners, like I encourage you, like there's 2 examples of people here that said, I don't have the community that I'm looking for. I literally was on the phone with someone today, and we always talk about like, if you have Christian friends, go make them, you know. And so it's kind of like, if you don't have that community, go build it. I mean, it's as easy as making a Facebook video and putting stuff out there, and then just staying consistent. It's a lot of hard work, but and burnout too. Have you guys experienced anything so far with being like, oh, this is so much on all of us? You know, I know there's moments where it's like, I've felt that way, but then you kind of like snap out of it and you're like, shut up. Like, no, we need this group. We need it.
I wouldn't say full burnout, but we've definitely all separately kind of experienced some chaos in our lives. Like everybody in the world has, like, you know, but one of the things we say to each other, the 4 of us all the time, is like, we are doing this for fun. Like we are doing this because we want to. So if you're having a bad night and you need to bow out, get on out of here. This is not important. You know, like if you can be here, sure, great. But we don't put a lot of pressure on each other. We really try to lift each other up in that support. So we've all experienced, I think, moments, but because we kind of help catch each other on the way down, we come right back up.
Yeah, and that's the purpose of the community, right? And if we could impact one person's life, it's worth it, right? If we could impact 10 people's lives, wow, how fortunate are we, you know? And so we've been able to see that it's like, because of this, we've been able to bring people together. And I just, it's one of those things that it's like, if we never made $1, right? If we still spent money on all this, it's still worth it.
Yeah.
Still worth it.
I mean, even like this, not to be corny, but even you asking us to come on this podcast is feedback to us that like something we're doing is making a difference. And we know it's making a difference to us, but we don't know unless people tell us. And so when people give us feedback on that, it's like, not necessarily, I guess it's a little bit self-serving because it's kind of like a pat on the back, but at this, really, it shows us all the work we've done.
And it feels like reassurance that you're supposed to be doing this,
right. Exactly.
Because it's like the weirdest thing. Like when someone asks me to go on their podcast, I get like so giddy and excited and nervous. But then when I do my own, I'm like, why don't I feel this way? Because I'm like, but to me, it's like routine. You do this, but then like sometimes it's like, no, you're actually doing something very cool and important, and you need to value this. And so if I'm the person where it's like, no, keep this going because I love it and you're making a difference. Like my podcast is about hope and things that are fulfilling and like bringing life and bringing, great things. And so I don't know, immediately when I went to that event, I was like, you guys got to get on. So even if it's just me being like,
oh my gosh,
in the stand with the sign.
We're watching you dance at the pickleball event. We're like, we need to at all of our events.
Exactly. I do be dancing. No, you guys keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Because I know before I had any other podcast friends, I got in that mindset of like, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
Is anyone even caring or listening? And it's like, just because you're the only one right now doing something like this, oh man,
right.
like what happens when it's your 2 year, you know?
Right.
I mean, very exciting.
Yeah. It's been a really exciting, 10, however many months it's been. But it's like we got that immediate feedback, and so we just want to, it counts. Every little thing that someone says, like, I really enjoyed that event. It makes a huge difference to us.
Yeah. Well, and really too, even with the podcast, it's like, if you can make an impact, like you said, in one life, like there could be one person who is like contemplating suicide and they come to an event and they're like, no, you know what? I met people. I feel peace. I feel this, whatever it is, it's a win. It's a win, And so I don't know, definitely encourage you guys because you're doing amazing things and I hope you don't ever stop.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So we hope we don't ever stop too.
So we're coming to a close here. Before we get into my last, typical questions, I have 2 really pop questions.
Okay.
One, what is your favorite place to shop at in Springfield? Because you both are dripped out. I'm on the spicy grandpa lore.
That's drip too.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, like where do you guys get your outfits from?
Here in Springfield,
anywhere. I guess. Anywhere.
I'm a big Amazon girl.
Yes, she is.
Prime Day is like my
Love
Christmas,
it.
so
Yes.
I was already all over that last week. So, a lot of my stuff I just get from Amazon because it's just I'm very busy and I don't have time to go try on and then I can return it. Locally though, my go-tos are either Stacks, Uptown, Clothes, or somewhere at the mall.
Yeah. I'm a Brentwood bee.
Yeah.
I shop over there at like
Love
Stacks
it.
Clothes, and now Uptown is there, so like the trio is complete.
Shout out Stacks in Uptown.
Yeah,
We
that's
see
right,
you.
girls. We love you.
Okay, and I know we've like touched on, I guess, whatever. So like one dating question is like whether it's for the girls or the guys, it could be like fun. Like what's a little dating advice? Not like deep. It could be like, don't do this on a first date, or don't go hammocking. You should, Yeah, that was me 2 months ago.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, whatever it is, like something fun or whatever.
For me, it's always on a first date, have an activity. Like,
that's good.
Always go on an activity to where you don't have to worry about like entertaining each other. So whether it's like playing putt-putt golf or going bowling or something along those lines, so you can just do something together and kind of bond over that experience, but not feel like you have to like continually talk 24/7.
Yes.
I wouldn't recommend a movie though because you don't really get a lot of talking. So like a good balance would be ideal.
Yeah. I love that. I love.
Oh my God, be silly. Like be yourself.
Yes.
Like don't like do that whole stiff, when people are like, be your most authentic self. Really though, like just like let it all hang out. Let out who you are, like maybe don't fart right away.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, whatever your journey is, don't do that on my first date. But
I feel like on first dates,
but I love to be silly.
I would always be like, I'll take a salad. That's not my personality.
Yeah.
Just get the pizza, get the carbs,
That's
get
right.
whatever you want. I'd be like,
get the Wagyu
and then I'd be like,
steak.
yeah, exactly.
Probably not buying.
As soon as I get home, I'm like, I'm starving. I don't just eat salad in my life. So yeah, go for whatever you want.
I think have a little humility. Be like, oh my gosh, I could barely find a parking spot. So I ran in here. If I'm sweating, I'm sorry. It's like just. I don't know. We're all just people,
I love it.
you know?
Yes.
Just have fun.
No, I love it. I love it. And last question before we get into the way I end every show. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about like just going for it. So any advice to someone that maybe feels a tug on their heart of like, should I do this? Should I not? I'm really scared. What if I get canceled? What if I get mocked online? Because that's a big one. I mean, that's a big one. So like, what would your advice be to that person who is feeling led to maybe start something?
Man, you got to follow that feeling. You got to go with your gut. Like, I could sit here and tell you all my twists and turns of how I got to where I am, but it's the same. Like, you have to go with that feeling.
Yeah.
Whether it's the universe or God or your own personal self, your subconscious pushing you. You really, what are you going to do? You're going to regret not doing something.
That's right.
More than you'd regret failure.
That's good.
For sure. Yeah, I would say if you're on the fence, do it. I mean, at the end of the day, the only person that needs to really care is you. And 5 years from now, are you going to be upset that you didn't take that chance on whatever it may be? So whether it's changing jobs or traveling or a relationship, whatever it could be, just like go for it. I think the thing that helped me in some of mine was I had a therapist. So for me, it was, and I still have a therapist, but it's a third party person that I could talk and share, and she could give me a real non-objective viewpoint of that. And so it helped me balance that. So just maybe find somebody that you respect, and it doesn't have to be a close friend, but somebody you can go and you can bounce ideas off of, that you want to hear their opinion, and they can maybe kind of give you the good, the bad, the ugly of what that thought is.
Yeah.
And then help build your confidence up to just go do it. Because at the end of the day, like, you just do it.
Yeah, you can ask yourself, is this going to harm myself or another person? If the answer is no, then go for it.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's good. That's so good, ladies. Well, as we end every show, favorite song, favorite quote, and what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh my gosh, I have to look up the song that I've been listening to. So you go first.
So favorite song, I told you, Every Morning, Good Day, Forrest Frank.
Love
just
it,
start that
love
day off.
it.
Starts
So
a nice
good.
little jam. I think a big thing for me is it's a legacy, but also just like a quote. It's like designing a world where every woman feels seen, heard, and supported. Like that's a big. But for me, like my mission is to be able to create a life that's a legacy beyond like myself, and it's for my future family. Whether it be helping people start a business, whether them being able to go out and they build wealth for their family, or helping educate and just giving them the push that they need to take that chance on whatever life would be. So really, it's just being able to be that cheerleader for anybody that needs it, and just saying like, you are here, you are seen, you're supported, I hear you, just let us know what we can do to help you.
That's so good. That's so good.
My favorite song right now is Trippy Land by Juicy J.
Okay.
I listened to it.
Woo!
I didn't even know the name of it because I just have it like on my Spotify. I'm like, play every day. Man, the best advice I'd get, it's going to kind of start off weird, so bear with me here.
That's okay.
But
I'm here for a roller coaster ride.
My therapist told me this one time. She was like, no one gives a crap about you. And I'm like, what? And she's like, no, think about it. Like, no one's thinking about you or worrying about you as much as you think.
Yep.
You walk into a room and you know, let's say you go to a wedding or prom or something and you're so worried about your outfit. You spent hours getting it. So did everybody else. Like everybody, we're all, I've said it several times on this podcast, like we're all human. We all have the same feelings. And so get out of your own head. If someone's looking at you, they might be like, oh my gosh, where'd she get that outfit? She's so cute. Crap. And they're rolling their eyes. It's because they're thinking like, she got it going on. When in our heads, we're thinking, oh my gosh, they're just like, they're judging me. No.
Yeah.
People are judging themselves, which we shouldn't. But, you know, it's like, you know, no one gives a crap about you. Just do your thing. Keep moving forward.
No, that's good. And legacy?
Legacy I want to leave on the world?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Man, that is a hard one. I've never thought about that in my life. I guess I want to leave a legacy of like impact, like something silly. This is a silly thing, but I do hair. I quote unquote, you know, I say like I just do hair, but something I really try to do with my clients is have like way more impact than just, I want them to sit in my chair because they like me and the, you know, leaving a mark on somebody in a positive way. That's what I hope my legacy is.
Fully. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, shoot. I guess I'll answer too.
We have to hear your response.
I always shoot mine for
Can we ask you questions?
Yeah, you want to ask me a question? Or you can ask me a little.
What's your legacy?
Oh, my legacy?
Oh, okay.
I'm so caught off guard. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, well, I guess just to run through, I mean, I always pick mine like for the week. I'm listening to Forrest Frank a lot too. I'm trying to listen to more Christian music. I like him because it's kind of like vibey, but it is Christian and it's kind of like chill, happy vibes. So I guess the one low key, I don't know, I like that one. Quote. I've been big on gratitude recently. I just feel like my accountability partner kind of called me out, and she was like, you could move anywhere you want, but you might not be content still, because I don't know if that's what you're going for. And I was like, dagger. But, you know, listening to a podcast the other day, and they said, you know, hope and gratitude equals healing a lot of times. And so just finding so much to be grateful for in every season of life, because I know someday, like, Lord willing, I'll find the chappy little bloke, you know, and looks super cute and whatever, like, I don't know. You know, and like someday I'm going to be in a different season of life or whatever it's going to look like. And right now I'm in this fun, cool, single loft vibe where I get to just hang out with whoever, whenever. And there's so much in that to be grateful for. And so, I don't know, I guess that would be my little quote. And, you know, legacy, I just want to spread the gospel and live for Jesus and be happy. And just be kind to everybody, you know, no matter what someone looks like, what they believe in, what stage of life they are, just meet them where they're at. And that's been a big thing I feel like it's been on my heart, is just really like meeting people where they're at. Yeah. So,
yeah,
I don't know. And also just get way better at ping pong. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, did they say you travel and you're in ping pong tournaments?
We need to tell a funny little joke, guys. I completely forgot about this. So we go to this pickleball event, right? And we're all just live, laugh, loving. And I was like, oh. And then we start playing pickleball, and someone was like, oh, you're pretty good. They're like, did you play in college? And I was like, no, I played ping pong. And next thing I know, I mean, it was just like at the lunch table at high school.
Oh, yeah, it spread like wild.
Everyone was like, oh, well, that girl like is a professional ping pong player.
Yes, and I was like, what?
I'm like, did you hear that girl's a professional ping pong player?
Well, and obviously how I view myself in the mirror every day is that way. And so why am I going to stop a rumor like that when I'm like, yeah, I mean, in certain areas, AKA my loft, that is what is true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was true on that pickleball court that night.
It was so wild, though. People were gassing me up, and then I'm like, well, Rachel beat me, so.
Again, you had 3 games ahead of time. But I was like, she's a little tired now. I can beat her. Let's go.
No, it was so fun. But thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Be sure to follow them. You guys plug your stuff. Where can they reach out to you? Where can they follow you? And also join the community, all the things.
Yeah, so we have an Instagram page. It's the flourishing.female. And then we have a private Facebook group with over 400 women in there as well. And it's just the Flourishing Female. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you guys so much. Remember to always live, laugh, love, and keep on keeping it with cash. Whoop, whoop. Okay, bye. Live, laugh, love you guys. Bye. See ya.